Welcome to the World Chess Championship 2014. Magnus Carlsen, defending world champion from Norway, rated 2863. Highest rating ever in the history of chess. Looking to defend his title. Magnus won it last year from former world champion Anand, seen here, ex-world champion from India. Vishy's looking for revenge. It's going to be a great match. Stay tuned for the games. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. All I can say about this game is wow. I do want to remind you though, at the end of this video is the video of the press conference from this game. Round 6 of the World Chess Championship 2014. Magnus Carlsen, current world champion, as white. Anand as black, former world champion. Wow. I'm telling you, this is something that you could count on one hand the number of times this has happened in a world championship match. Let's get to it. It's going to be an open Sicilian. Excuse me, Carlsen's white, Anand is black. We'll go for the first few moves here. It's pretty much standard stuff. I kind of like that Maraxi bind setup with the pawns here and here. Knight c3, bishop, queen, knight takes, and d takes, queen takes, king takes. Interesting. It's interesting Sicilian. Even game so far. e5 chasing the knight from Carlsen. Anand moves the knight back to d7. Bishop f4, just protecting the pawn and developing the piece. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Now, this is a really screwy setup on the queen side with those two double pawns here, but I'll tell you the truth. The computer shows half-point advantage for white. Now, this is all in their preparation. They moved really quickly for a while. King c7, just to get the king out. It's kind of like the same setup with Berlin when we move the king out. h4, b6, h5, pushing the pawn again. Knight c5 by the computer, but h6 is Anand's choice. Kind of controls the g5 square too on top of that. Castle's long. And just wait till it comes up. I'll tell you, something extraordinary happens here. Bishop b7, half-point advantage for white. White's got the bishop pair, but other than that, nothing really extraordinary. This is a weird position, at least it is for me. I mean, that queen side is just a mess. Pawn on e5, choking down black a little bit. Rook d3, c5. It starts getting incredibly complicated coming up here. Rook g3. Now, of course, this pawn is holding back this one. So it looks like Anand's going to be a little defensive for a while. Rook a to g8. Bishop d3. Now, this is an incredibly unpleasant position. And this is part of the thing with computers. It only shows about 3/4 of a pawn advantage for white, but this is not a pleasant position to play at all. At all. And Anand's doing okay, considering. Knight f8. Like I said, he wants to move the pawn up, but it's just unpleasant. It's very passive. Bishop e3. Now, you can stop the video through here, and I'll tell you what, it starts getting incredibly complicated. Looks like pawns are hanging or really aren't hanging, and it's just all kinds of stuff going on. It's incredibly complicated. f3, the computer liked, and then bishop c6. But after bishop e3, g6, h takes, knight takes, and rook h5. Stop that pawn right there. As you can see, it's getting double hit. Here and here. Bishop c6, bishop c2. Now, if you're wondering what will have happened if bishop takes, not good at all. Knight e5, the bishop, rook takes, bishop takes, king, rook takes, and white's up a full piece. But then again, you turn around, rook takes. Tiny advantage for black. How crazy is that? This is all got to be figured out. And Anand's eating up a lot of time. King b7. Anand's just waiting to see what Carlsen's going to do. Rook g4. Not so sure on rook g4. Computer likes king d2, king b2. Just to protect that c-pawn, I think. And just move the king up. Rook g4. What do you do here? I mean, I don't even know where to begin to even figure this out. King c7, the computer likes. Another kind of waiting move. Knight e7, knight f8. Vishy started to go a5. He's got a plan. I tried to drive this pawn down to here. Bishop d1. Rook d8. Get the only open file. Bishop c2. Pretty good move there. Computer like bishop b3. Be honest with you. I like Carlsen's move, a3. All three moves are all close in score. And this is incredibly complicated. Not bishop takes again. Because after knight takes, rook takes, rook takes. And that's a small advantage for black. After bishop c2, rook over. Now this is what happens here. And I saw the video of the round, the entire round. And sometimes what Magnus is trying to do, he's trying to get the king over on this side of the board here. And he makes a casual move. This casualness is deadly, absolutely deadly. He goes king to d2. And immediately, it's a 1.5 advantage for black. He realizes what he did. Now the computer like rook to g3, then after knight, rook takes, or rook takes. It's going to be very unpleasant for black here, but I think he'll be okay. But after king to d2, it's clear what he should do. But Anand was so set on his plan of pushing that a-pawn, he moved a4. Now, when have you ever seen this before? Where you have the world champion that's white, king to d2, makes a double question mark move, a blunder. And then the next move from his opponent is also a blunder. Now, I want to go back and show you what I mean. When Magnus went king to d2, and we've all done this. This guy's the world champion, highest rated player ever in the history of chess. And we've done it too, where you'll make a move, and as soon as you move and let go of the piece and go to write down the score sheet, you realize you screwed up. And then Vishy screws up too, a4. What he should have done was knight takes. Rook has to take, and then you get the check. King moves, say he goes to d3. Then knight checks, king moves, and rook takes. And black's up 2 pawns. Just like that. Rook takes, rook takes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Now this is game 6. It's 2.5 apiece. Anyway, after a4, so what do you do here? You're Vishy. Carlsen immediately moves his king over when he sees the mistake. Now you're Vishy and you've seen what happened. And he saw it too. And he saw the mistake. How do you recover from that psychologically? I don't think he did. I think he did the best he could the rest of the game. That win was there. And it was there. And it was clear. And he missed it. Because he was just so concentrated on moving the a-pawn. Let's go through the rest of the game. a3. Might as well finish up your plan. f3. Just to protect the rook on g4. Rook to d8. King e1. Rook d7. Now it's a 1.5 advantage right now for white, but this is so easy to convert. Now I have to say, black's in a tough spot. has to make every single move correctly in order to save the draw. Bishop C1. Rook A8. All kinds of plans going on here. This is an incredibly complicated position. Very complicated indeed. King to E2. Bishop A4. Now, if bishop takes, rook takes, what's going to happen to this pawn? White can't save it. He's eventually going to get that pawn. Bishop checks. And this is where I think Vichy miscues too. King A7 was the move. Now, what human would do that? Why a human would block off his rook like that? But he did. And there's all kinds of stuff going on here. We got rook check here. Rook zooming in. And who in the world would move king to A7 here? But that is the correct move. But he moved bishop C6. If they go king to A7, after bishop takes, rook to D1, bishop takes, king takes, rook to A1. Now, who could have saw that? White's up the exchange and 2 pawns. And I think black can still draw this. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Now, Vichy had to figure all that out after his miscue there. There's no way it's going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So he's got to try to do the best he can. Bishop takes. Pawn takes. If bishop had taken H6 instead, bishop takes, rook takes, king C6. And I think black might have salvaged that, but bishop takes G6, pawn takes, rook takes, bishop A4. It's an almost 3-point advantage for white. And it's really a shame. It's a 12-game match. This is game 6. Vichy had the winning hand. And it's tough. I mean, you know, how happy would he have been if he got his championship back, especially for one of the strongest players that ever lived. And I'm going to pause before I show the rest of the game and say that Vichy was incredibly disappointed. As you all know, he's going to lose this game now. But I think he ought to be incredibly encouraged. Because Carlsen is seen as the boy wonder, and I like Magnus. I'm not putting the kid down. He's seen as the boy wonder. He's basically invincible. He's not invincible. None of us are invincible. And when he did that king to D2 move, he proved that. And I think Vichy, in a lot of ways, is just as good as Magnus. And he had Magnus. You know, the funny part is, Magnus had an incredibly good position. He was pressing Vichy when he moved king to D2. So he has the same human faults that we all do, including Anand. And they're not putting the kid down. He is human, of course. But he's been put up on this pedestal. Instead of bishop to A4, rook to E8, according to the computer, then rook takes. It's still bad. After bishop A4, rook takes, rook to D1. It's over. Bishop takes, rook A1, king E3, bishop C2. If you're wondering what happened if rook took A2 after bishop C1, rook E8, it's over. After bishop C2, rook checks. And that's when Vichy Anand, former world champion, resigned. You can tell he was heartbroken, but I'll still say this again, and I know I'm trying to make lemons out of lemonade here, but I don't think that's the case. Vichy was being pressed. Magnus miscued. Blundered. Not a miscue, he blundered. And Vichy missed it. So Magnus is just as human as all of us, as we all knew. But it seems that he always brings out the worst in people when he's pressing them. And Vichy hung in there. And I'll give Vichy that. Now, tomorrow, Sunday, there's no game. Monday is round 7. Now, Carlsen got white in games 6 and 7. So we had 2 whites in a row. This is white number 1. Give you an idea what would have happened after rook to E7, king to A6, and rook takes. It is just a disaster. He's up 4 full pawns. I mean, you got to be kidding, right? And that's the way it goes sometimes. So tough break for Vichy. Congratulations to Magnus. He even admitted it. And he was very humble about it. He miscued. He blundered. And he said he was incredibly lucky. So watch the press conference at the end of this video. And that's round 6 of the World Chess Championship 2014. It's the way it is. That's why chess will never be solved by computers. Because the fact of the matter is, people play it. And there's always room for error. And that's where wins and losses begin and end. I want you all to remember, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
To start our press conference, the 6th game of the World Championship match finished in favor of Magnus Carlsen, and the score in the match is 3.5 to 2.5. So, Magnus, can you please start telling about the game, what happened today?
Well, I'm pretty happy with the position I got from the opening. I think, yeah, once he doesn't have to play g6, but anyway, it's. I mean, he can go something like bishop c6 and then bishop e8, but it's really not very nice. And then I think after that I should be much better, but I struggled to find a good plan, since I need to play f3 and regroup the rook, but that's not so easy, since he'll be attacking my g2 pawn. Obviously king d2, I mean, yeah, it shouldn't happen. So
When did
it was
you
just
see this?
extremely lucky. I mean, immediately after I made my move, what can you do?
What did you feel at this moment? I mean, what did you do? Actually, we didn't have live transmission at this moment, so it's hard to judge.
No, I mean, it's not a good feeling. So, and then, yeah. So after, of course, knight e5 is very good, but even after a4, I have to allow a3, and now I wasn't really finding the right plan, and I think, yeah, bishop a4 is probably bad. As we discussed briefly later, knight e7, black still has very good chances to hold the game. But after bishop a4, then it doesn't work, the counterplay.
Vishu, what is your version of what happened? And basically, Peter Svidler said during his comments that you might know this position till move knight g6 or something like this. Is it true?
I don't remember that, but anyway, yeah, the thing is, when you're not expecting a gift, sometimes you just don't take it. And rook g4, I had the same problem, that as soon as I played a5, I saw it. And because I was looking for this a5, a4 counterplay, I thought it would be helpful for me to do this, and I was just very focused on that. And then in the end, for f3 on move 28, well, I liked my setup here. I thought, but I jumped the gun a bit with bishop a4. Somewhere I made a mistake, which I saw later. These lines with bishop check, bishop b3, but I'm just one move slow everywhere. So had I played knight e7 and then gone bishop a4, I could have held probably, but who knows. Anyway, actually a pretty terrible game. So
Did this blunder, let's say, the thing that you didn't see, this 95, did it influence your game after?
Yeah, I don't know about him, but for me, yeah, as you can see, my play wasn't that confident. I didn't feel that I found the right setup. I mean, I went back and forth with the king and so on. So yeah, I guess it affected me to some extent. But yeah.
Vishu, what about you? Did you think about it later, or you tried to get rid of it?
I don't know, but given the way I played the rest of the game, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have questions to players? Yes, please.
Magnus, can you tell us a little bit about what you were thinking, what you were feeling in the seconds after you made the move?
I don't know. It's just the same at any level. I mean, it's just a feeling of complete panic, and then sometimes you're very, very lucky and you get away with it.
What's the chance to get away with this on this level?
I mean, I don't know. But as Vishy said, the thing is that the position is sort of stably better for white, so you don't expect such things to happen. But obviously you need to be alert, and most of the time you get severely punished for making such an oversight.
Magnus, when did you realize that you had made a mistake?
Just after I made the move. Somehow that's always the way it is. When you see the position on the board, it just hits you immediately.
Magnus, do you take responsibility for giving the Norwegian TV audience a collective heart attack?
Yes.
And your manager, yes. Actually, I think during the interview, Espen Agderstans mentioned that it was probably one of the most horrible blunders in your career. I agree with this.
Well, I made some similar blunders, but I mean, let's not focus too much on that.
Anand, this is described as a historical match due to the mistakes that were made. Can you describe what it's like being the loser of this game?
It's not good.
And Magnus, could the World Championship title have been lost there?
Sorry?
Could the World Championship title have been lost there?
Obviously, yes.
Question for Magnus. You don't seem relieved. You seem almost disappointed to win in this way. Is that an accurate depiction of how you feel right now?
No, I'm relieved. I'm massively relieved. I mean, usually you feel happy when you win. Today it's mostly relief. I think it was a good game to some point, and then, I mean, when you get such a gift, then you just feel massively relieved, and yeah, that's all I can say.
To Mr. Anand, what went through your mind when you realized that Magnus had made a mistake and you hadn't seen it?
Well, also you understand that something just went wrong, and you hope it doesn't continue.
Magnus, how hard you made the move?
Well, I don't think I kept my poker face at all. So I don't know.
What would you play instead of this move? I mean, if you had another chance.
What?
What would you play instead of king d2?
Well, okay, I can put the king on d1 to get the same position. I mean, there is no direct win by any means, but there are very few moves that completely spoil my position, and basically it's just king d2. So.
Yeah. Any other questions, please?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Magnus, looking forward for the next games, how is that? What do you think?
Well, regardless of, I mean, what happened in the game, a point is a point. And I think after the free day, we'll both have settled down and play at a more normal level. So it's a very good result for me, obviously, and going forward, I don't know if the way this actually happened is going to make much of a difference.
Please.
Magnus, were you afraid that your body language would reveal the mistake that you'd done?
A little bit, but I didn't have time to think too much. As I said, it was just a state of panic at that point.
And then to Anand, do you feel like you could read it from Magnus's body language?
I don't know. I didn't. That's all.
Okay, do we have other questions not connected with the move? Kim G2, please.
Magnus, you said before the match that game 6 and 7 could be decisive. What do you say now?
Well, let's play game 7 at least first. But obviously 2 whites in a row. It's a big moment for me, and to get the first win, it's very good. Yeah, now I'm ahead again. I'll try to keep on going and not give it away immediately.
Yes, the last question, please.
Magnus, I talked to your manager who was in shock right after your mistake. He said that he didn't dare to think about how would you react if Anand exploited your error, but how do you think you would react?
What can you do? You just have to dig down and try and defend. I don't think the position would have been dead lost. I just think it would have been a bad position, and I could have tried to continue the game at least. So that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Thank you very much for attending this press conference.